Hey guys, how you going? So, just been after the football game and went up and saw my son, and I said I was going to come back and do a video in regards to why it's been 7 or 8 days or whatever it's been since I've posted. So, I think the last video I did was basically waiting for the cops to turn up at my house to get into the house. Of course, we arranged a time. I waited around for 2 hours. They didn't come, and so I had to phone them. And they said, well, we better, is there any way we contact your wife and she can take the stuff up to the police, your stuff up to the police station? I said, well, yeah, that's going to have to do, isn't it? So this is about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in that afternoon, and I had nowhere to stay, nowhere to go. So and my money was running out as well. So I managed to book into a very cheap motel for that night. That was the Wednesday. And then, yeah, on the Thursday, arranged for the coppers to pick the stuff up from the police station, but I never got there. I just fell into a real sort of stupor and depression, and I just a real, it wasn't good. So anyway, like, well, let's just say it. I don't feel particularly good about this, but I try to off myself, hang myself from a tree, and I sent a message to the wife saying goodbye and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I actually sent a message previously to her saying, listen, I've got nothing, and got nothing back from her. And then I did that. So I'd actually gone unconscious. Someone had seen me in the park doing it. So I used a rope, and I was trying to do the Jeffrey Epstein way, where you kind of well, he was probably murdered, but or the prison way anyway, where you're slowly trying to asphyxiate yourself. I'll get that out. So, yeah, and then I'd gone unconscious, but the coppers had just got there, and they had cut me down and revived me. So then I spent 5 days in Fiona Stanley mental health ward, and yeah, getting help, and yeah, so it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Now, so 5 days on, I get out. They eventually release me. It's amazing. They want to push you out. There's nothing there for blokes at all. But at least with Fiona Stanley, they actually gave me some backup, and there was a lot of support afterwards. So, which I have been sort of accessing to some extent. But here's the crocker. This is the beauty for you. So the messages I sent, the goodbye messages, everything like that, my wife put a complaint in the police, and they arrested me for breach of VRO. Yeah. So I've got a hearing next Monday. So yeah, that's what happens when you have a vindictive woman, you know. But there are good things that also happen as well. So I found this place called Just Fund, and I'm getting this line of credit for a divorce lawyer, because the only way out of this is to divorce and get the house and get what my share of that. But I'm also, I know that when I've contacted the lawyers previously, she's got a lot of super. Actually, I won't go into that, because best not to go into that, because yeah, we've still got to go to court and stuff. And if this, I'm not saying anyone's even watching this fucking stupid videos, but I wouldn't want to compromise that. But let's just say that would give me access to funds. I'd be able to buy a house and be fine. Not seeing this cunt of a thing ever again would be a pleasure in my life. So, yeah. So I've got hold of a divorce lawyer and with line of credit, so that's great. I've got the ridiculous breach of a VRO hearing coming up, and I'm going to have to get some legal advice for that. What else have I got? I know I found a friend's letting me stay at her room, so I'm not homeless anymore, which, wow, so, for small mercies. And a friend of at work, and work's been fantastic, so I've still got a job, and I'm back there on Monday. They've given me a car, or they've lent me a car, and they're going to sell it to me for about $2.5 grand. So I'm hoping that this line of credit, I can maybe buy the car. And so what happens with the line of credit, I think they pay at the end. So once we do the settlement and everything like that, they get their money back and everything like that. But so, and what I'm planning with the super is, yeah, we might be able to take something out of her super for it, because if I can beat these charges, the breach of VRO charges, and then get the VRO taken down, I've asked the lawyer about suing for damages, you know, because like this has absolutely destroyed me. You know, to go from having a house and then to being homeless, and then like this, the lack of support, the lack of, and just the way they look at you, you know. I didn't hit my fucking wife, but you're automatically assumed guilty, you know. And she's, of course, not accountable for anything. And this is what shits me. So what they said is the text messages to her were manipulative. And I'll put them all up here for you. All they were was a statement of fact. And this is the way I look at it. If you reverse those roles, right? If she'd been out there pleading for her some sort of compassion, she's got nowhere to go, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff, and that she is now on her knees, and that she was going to obviously say goodbye to the kids, and I'm gonna do it, and I did what she did, you know what it would be? I'd be a callous, cruel, vindictive husband who who part of the patriarchy, who the best example of how you oppress women. But when I do it, even though I've got no home, no agency, no nothing, I'm the she's somehow manipulated. It's fucking unbelievable. This use of language and the way, and especially since this third wave feminism has come in, this use of language. Like you could have a male and a female, and they both have their their boundaries, and those boundaries could be both the same. So let's just say the bloke goes, well, I'd like to know where you're going tonight. And the female goes, well, where are you going tonight? What's happening? You know, how long are you going to be? Whatever. And say they both their boundaries. I would be, that would be coercive control on my part. But on her part, it's being empowered and taking her power back and all this shit. That's the way they use the language, depending on who it is. You know? They're allowed to have boundaries. We're not allowed to have fucking boundaries. You know? And the fact that she did that, and I'm not joking, even when the coppers were looking at they're going, oh, look, technically it's a breach, but God, you know, it's a little brutal what she's doing, you know? But it didn't stop them from charging me. So anyway, hopefully, I don't know, look, I'm going to get legal advice on that. It's just a fucking nightmare, hey? An utter nightmare, guys. And I'm telling you right now, like, let me tell you, like, 20 or 30, 20 odd years ago, I would never have, in the life of me, thought my wife was capable of this type of indifference, inhumanity, and cruelty. But, like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this is a survival skill that all women have, and this is why when it comes down to it, and they can turn off their empathy and their compassion like a tap. So yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at. But at least I've got a car and I've got some advice. I've got things going, and hopefully, I'll probably lose this in court. They'll fine me anyway because any breach is a breach of these VROs. So you know, again, but. Talking to my divorce lawyer, she was saying, look, you know, it's a pretty brutal thing for what she's done, and at your most vulnerable, and, you know, if the cops hadn't come when they were, I was done. I was blue. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but I'll keep you updated. Our son had a great game today, so he was really good today. So what was it about? Ended up with about 15 possessions. So he didn't have a great game last week, but yeah, he's really coming on as a footballer. And but it was hard today because like I was there and I was like normally we would meet, we'd go home and I'd talk about the game with him, I trained with him. That's all stopped. All of that stopped. But just seeing him out there made me feel really like the. And then of course up in the grandstand I see my fucking wife and her legions of family members because she's got a massive family, and it's just like, you know. There's just a real and look, you don't want to play victim and all that sort of shit, but you just feel like, oh, you know, it's all against you. But you just got to keep fighting, man. I tell you right now, I'm motivated more. I'm not going to do the suicide thing again, that's for sure, because you know what? I'm not gonna let her win like that. I'm not gonna let her win like that. So, and I'll be honest here, like if there is an aspect of me getting her super where I would have normally gone 50-50, fuck that, mate. Fuck that. Fuck that. Take the gloves off her, you know? Because you get no rewards for being a nice guy here. No rewards. Anyway, guys, I'll let you know what's going on, and we'll hopefully I'll get better at speaking to camera and stuff like that. It's a bit unusual. It's, you know, but yeah. And hopefully this, I'm not checking the views or comments. It's probably fucking 2 people watching. So yeah, I hope if this actually helps anyone or gives them a bit of solace if they're going through the same thing, I hope it does for all the blokes out there. But yeah, anyway, bloke, see ya. So he's just gone off now. He just was involved in a school involvement there. I think I've got all of it. I'm not going to film anymore because it's just so hard to film. There's wind and just all that. Yeah, he's 4 or 5 possessions. He's done pretty well, the kid. Good lad. Well done to JJ, eh? Yeah, good start. Dockers are losing at the moment, but I'll come back. I hope. So half time, if I can get somewhere private, or I might have to leave it till after the game. I'll tell you and give you an update on what's happened. So yeah, anyway, good on you, JJ. Did manage to capture it, but just scored a goal. I tackle off his turnover. So yeah, good start.